As a follow up to shifting baseline syndrome and the boiling frog syndrome, let's discuss the law of inertia. This happens to be the last part in our three-part series, Where Do We Stand Now? As science students, we have learned that Newton's first law of motion, also called the law of inertia, states that a body at rest or a body in motion will continue in the same state unless intervened by a net external force. But this law is applicable to objects. We human beings are not inanimate objects. Rather, we are living beings with thinking brains and consciousness. The impulse to change could come very much from within us. Yet, history has shown that societies and systems do abide by this law in some way. Time and again, we see that the course of evolution changes only at the point of appearance of black swan events, such as rapid externalities, wars, emergencies, market crashes, and natural disasters. Now that we have established through the first two parts in the series that either erroneous systems need to be corrected or we need to get out of the systems that can't be fixed, let us explore the possibilities of what we could do as individuals. First and foremost, we need to identify those systems that we are part of which are draining us. Also, we need to understand that we as individuals cannot change the systems on our own. So, we need to align with the right stakeholders who are in a position to effect change. It could start with providing prompt feedback to government when we encounter problems. Let's admit, how many of us care to file a formal complaint when we come across things that are not working in the society? We need to understand that government systems and machinery is also composed of human beings like us. We need to coordinate with them to bring about change. We are indeed a vast country with complex systems and diversities. Moving on, you could volunteer with the right change agents in the society like non-profits and NGOs who you trust are working for the right causes. It could even be as simple a gesture such as extending your support to them and joining the chorus to bring about change. It just doesn't cost anything. And it's a favor you're doing to your own self, not to anybody else. Next, we need to take pessimistic theories too in our stride with an open mindset, instead of staying rooted in our assumption that all is well. Well, all is not well when a planet is being exploited at unprecedented rates of consumerism by 8.2 billion and counting population. Yet, the planet continues to provide for both our needs and greed. We need to get rid of this attitude of complacency that we are too busy to work for societal change. For example, while some of us are littering, there are some NGOs who are clogging our litter. In fact, most of us tend to subconsciously feel that activities like clogging and conservation of nature are the domain of some NGOs and non-profits alone. That's not just being selfish, it also implies a sense of superiority and entitlement. It's like saying we have chosen money and they have chosen service, so it's their headache. We really need to remember that activities by genuine NGOs and non-profits are for collective benefit and not for personal gains. More importantly, we need to remind ourselves that while we have fundamental rights to exercise, we have fundamental duties to fulfill too. Yes, it may be true that the responsibility to bring about change is primarily on government, but our collective consciousness has to change. The majority needs to understand that change is needed. That is when good can outweigh bad. There we rest our case. Are you ready to take action now?